to the 6, we be in the mix. With that rare candy paint job on the whip. I need food for the kids, money for the rent. Fuck a lockdown, baby, I can't do that shit. And I don't never vote, cause I'm fucking broke. And either way, I know the police ain't gon' leave me alone. On a plane by the visit Glen Rock, need crypto, told me I should bring the Glock with me. So I packed up my piece and I'm sliding. Cause we might get caught up in a riot. Middle finger Trump, middle finger Biden. Fuck a left, fuck a right, is you riding? Know you love to see it, dudes rocking. Ain't no politics, baby, we just talking. From the birds to the bricks, we be in the mix. With that rare candy paint job on the whip, who you with?
Okay, guys, couple announcements before we get started. At the end of this episode, you will not hear our normal ending outro. You will be hearing a song, and let me just make sure I get this right, because this is an artist that I'm familiar with, but he's just getting started right now. But I'm taking submissions on this, and the song at the end of this will be Nothing Is Real, and it's by Fountain of Mirth. That's at the end of this. So I know that our community that we have here around RC, there's a lot of really talented people, and I kind of want to turn this show, or at least use the radio experience to kind of showcase that. And also, you guys better not fucking sue me if you guys do blow up, and then be like, hey, Spotify copyright thing, and all that. But at the end, like I said, Nothing Is Real, Fountain of Mirth. That'll be the end song there. Normally that song is provided by our good friend the Nanny State, who goes by Wrong Circles. But yeah, guys, rarecandyindustries@gmail.com if you want to just submit some of your worst I could say is no, or just ignore it. So I mean, but you might get played at the end of the episode. So but I'm joined here by I don't even know what to call you now, because you have multiple magazines now.
Yeah.
You have multiple magazines.
I'm the happy man now, as we talked about.
Right.
No one knows that, though. That you're the first.
I love an exclusive. I love getting I'm a journalist at heart. I love scoops. The Happy Man. We're joined by the Happy Man. No, this is Ryan Simone, who is the owner of. You're the owner of the Happy Man.
Now, yeah,
you're the owner. I
did change it though to happyman.me, just because I thought that was funnier than like .com.
That is good. Yeah. So you. That was just sitting there. Domain name was just sitting there, because I mean, what's worse right now in 2025 than a happy man? Nobody wants that.
That's right. Yeah.
The happy woman is taken, I guarantee you.
Well, it was like it's basically like a Larry David spite store against one of my old clients, and I was on a run, and like the idea of like the Happy Man popped in my head, because I'm like, dude, if there's a whole thing to this, but I was like, if this motherfucker wants to go at me, like how dumb would he look coming after the Happy Man? Like that's an easy.
Yeah, how dare
it's easy to pick sides on that one.
I already picked a side. So
yeah,
I'm gonna tell you what, I'm not gonna choose against the Happy Man. As a men's health show, first and foremost. So if I'm siding against, that's the thing, is if you hated me, that would be the best way to do it, because you're like, wait, dude, are you against the Happy Man?
Yeah.
What the fuck's your show about then?
I do like Matt Cini dubbed me Lord Vulgaria, which I like.
I like that a lot. I like that.
Yeah, that's a fun one.
That's very Bam Margera. That's very Bamcore, Lord, and like his like medieval times like magic pickup artist.
Yeah, exactly.
That he has. That's very much that. Yeah, that's good. So you have a new magazine called Ritsuko.
That's right.
That is it's gone to print or has not yet. This is coming out today.
It's gone to print. It took a minute because the dimensions on Ritsuko are a bit wide, or they're off, and this one is so packed that like whatever. I had to like shop around for printers for this one, but it's finally in production.
Now there's a lot of listeners right now that probably perked up when they heard Ritsuko. They're like, anime.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's right.
I'm pretty sure a lot of people were like, "Wait, hold on, what? It wasn't what's called what?" So
yeah,
I've glanced at it. It's wonderfully put together. You have a style for sure. Like I'd be able to pick it out now, like a distinguishable style. Like if you didn't tell me you made it, I'd be like, "Oh, that's Brian that did this." You also gave us a very nice ad in your magazine for our horse feed, which is available at rarecandy.substack.com. And I'll display it with people. Let's see. Oh gosh, I don't know how I do this here, but you can. I will display it because, well, maybe I won't. Oh yeah, there we go. This is out here. This is beautiful. For people on YouTube, they can see it. I mean, look, guys. I mean, what more can you do than this? It's a horse. That's how you describe us. That's just what it is. That's what we are first and foremost. I mean, today's episode is absolutely going to be maybe the genesis of millennial horsing. Surely. But yeah, where can I get Ritsuko at?
It's at AmericanVulgaria.com. The current issue is the second one. But yeah, I'm calling it like the music magazine offshoot of American Bulgaria. The whole thing's kind of become this like Russian nesting doll of
That's the best way.
Yeah. I even had a thought too at one point, like, well, dude, maybe I'll do like a music project that's like a subcategory of Ritsuko and just keep like going deeper into the labyrinth, you know.
Yeah.
I'm just like stuck with the Minotaur, you know, and no one knows what's what.
Maybe it's our generation or something, because you and I are around the same age, I think, and like we the Russian nesting doll. I just feel like that's just like what we do, because there's so much I'll always hear from people like, dude, focus on one thing, centralized around there. I'm like, yeah, but I don't want to do that.
It's nice to have different arms and brand. I don't know if, especially like doing any project that like you kind of just get bogged. I do at least get bogged down by like the aesthetics of one thing. Then like you have another idea that pops up. Because I was thinking about that with your ad, where it's like, what should I showcase here? It's like there's rare candy, there's gain of fiction, there's psyops. You know, there's a lot to roll with there.
Well, I still don't know what our show is. Like, people have asked me, like, and they mean well. I know nobody's doing this to like bother me. I maybe they will at some point as like a postmodern thing. But like I when I go on someone's show, they go like, hey, like describe your show, and I know what they're doing. They're giving me an opportunity to showcase it and stuff. And I'm always like, man, I don't know. But the horse, just like horse is fun, and fun without the adults in the room, you know, like it's essentially, and it's everything, and it's also men's health. It's it's a lot of books and all that stuff, you know. It's just that you can come to later. But the reason I want you to come to this show is like, well, that looks fun.
Dude, the horse is great. You could like Joe Camel out with that and create a whole avatar of the horse, you know.
Yeah, Joe Camel, but like a horse with a cigarette. Yeah, that would be sick. Yeah, like a different. Okay, yeah, now you're onto something there.
Like reishi and
just all that stuff. But stack of books next to him. Yeah, absolutely.
That's right.
Absolutely, yeah, for sure. So yeah, guys, go on and get yourself an issue. I mean, cop all of it. I mean, if you guys haven't checked out American Bulgaria and stuff, it's not time sensitive. I mean, 50 years from now, you could be picking up magazines of that, because at the end of the day, the stuff in there ages well. Let's just say that much. I saw it. By the way, I was in an antique store. I was talking about vacation earlier. I was in an antique store in Petaluma, California, and it's a big time like deadhead town. I'm not sure if Jerry's was big out there or anything, but it's by San Francisco, so he might even be from there. I could be just I'm not a deadhead, but
sure,
he there's all this like Jerry Garcia, Phil Lesh stuff everywhere. But then like antique stores, man, vintage Playboys go crazy there. Like people, that's like number one stuff. Like guy, and I saw this guy that looked like Rake Yon buying a stack of Playboys. And
I got a whole lot here.
Yeah,
I mean, just one stack's in here.
Yeah. Like he was buying them, and I like nudged my wife, and I was like, the guy's buying. We weren't hating or anything, but like he turned him over. He turned him over at like as he was waiting for his receipt and stuff. He turned him over on the counter, and I was like, nah, that's no big deal, dude. I mean, that's like the most like banal thing you could be doing now, like at these places, but they go kind of crazy. So maybe one day, like we all hope our art lives beyond our allotted time on earth, and I maybe one day it's just like an antique store where like some fucking Rake Yon looking guy like I saw that guy never leaves. That guy's always going to be around as the Rake Yon woolly mammoth like caveman, Schoolhouse Rock caveman guy. Like that guy will always be around, but maybe he'll be buying American Bulgaria, 100 years from now. And we all want to be popular during our time, but I also have this like weird kind of like desire to where it's like this was discovered after he died.
Yeah, I feel that too.
Yeah, and it's weird because like that's not good,
No, I don't know though, because like I've thought about that too, because I have like print on demand options for the mags, but that like it's nice to have like a limited supply, instead of just I kind of want to remove that so they can attain more value over time. So there's like fewer of them, but I mean the whole point of a mag is like to do numbers.
To do numbers, and then like it also functions as a time capsule, but that's not the like selling point of it. That's like an added benefit to it. We're gonna get you right back to the episode, but I just wanted to let you guys know of a few other things we offer at Rare Candy Industries. We have a Substack with free and paid subscription options. Free subscribers get access to all written content. That includes Bob's Red Pill. That's the best thing going on the internet right now. Trust me. Paid subscribers get full access to our premium episode feed. And that's just every episode we don't necessarily want to share with the general public, if you know what I'm saying. Again, that's rarecandy.substack.com. We also have merch. That link's a little long for me to say right now, but go to the description, go to our merch store, and find a shirt that's right for you. We have Rare Candy shirts, Dr. Bronner soap label shirts, Rishi mushroom shirts, all types of stuff there. Check it out. There's got to be something for you. And lastly, check us out on social media. On Instagram, we're Rare Candy Pod, but on Twitter, we're at Rare Candy Pod 1. All right, enough of that. Let's get you back into the episode. What we're going to talk about today, we're talking about CKY, pretty much all things CKY. I mean, I'm sure there's going to be people that are experts in the band, experts in skating that are going to be, oh, why didn't you invite me on? Well, I was like, you know what? I was watching CKY videos. I think I had heard an old video of Sam Hyde and Nick Rushford talking about CKY, just in passing, a very passing comment they made. And I was like, I'm due for a rewatch because I've been rewatching. I've been watching these things not since they came out, but like since the early 2000s. And I was like, I'm due for a rewatch. And I was mesmerized, not by so much what they were, but I was like, this is so much more artful than this was retarded at the time. Like, you know, like it was like, that was the selling point of it to me. It was like, wow, this is like pure, like, this is the dumbest thing I could think of, but I would never do it because I couldn't. Everyone's a pussy. That's the thing, is you watch it and you live vicariously through these guys and you try it in your yard and you're like, I'm way too much of a pussy to do this. And you film yourself doing it, but you see yourself like bracing yourself for falls, like shopping cart stops a little short of the curb so you can fall easier. And you're like, wait, I could never do this. But now I'm like, doing this, you're doing a magazine, all these things. I'm like, all of these moving parts are happening. And this is pre-Jackass. Jackass was this maximalist signal boosting of all of this that really complicated it, but also broadcasted it to a wide audience. But CKY was kind of pornography in a way. To gay guys, I'm learning it was pornography the whole time, which I think is disgusting. Gay guys were watching they were watching Jackass and CKY and jacking off to it, which is disgusting.
There's so much poop and just butts and
which doesn't sway him probably.
The whole time you're watching it, you just like it just like you can just smell feet. It just has this like foot aroma to it.
It's so gross, dude. Yeah. It's so gross, but it's so I feel like you're supposed to age out of it being funny, but I found it even funnier.
I mean, I want to totally. I was talking to my buddy about this, who's like a huge BAM head, and we're just like, yeah, dude. Anytime I watch this, it's just like you want to call up the boys, and it's like, dude, I can make a video, dude. You know,
dude. I mean, it's like, you know, it's like when the Michael Jordan Last Dance documentary came out. Every 45-year-old ex-hooper with like bad knees is like, let's get the court, let's go out, let's go out to the court and do it like the old days. You know what I mean? And it's the same injuries you have to worry about, but it's just, this was a certain type of guy who I won't say doesn't exist now, but if he did exist, it's very much in an internet setting. We kind of get peek too much behind the curtain all at once. It becomes this all-encompassing channel on YouTube, and also it's derivative of a bunch of different things, and you can kind of, oh, that guy's doing this, that guy. When CKY happens, you realize you're like, okay, this is a young kid with an older brother who has a band. You know, the young kid is like already kind of a professional skater, already making a bunch of money at Toy Machine at the time. Bam Margera was, and his brother's got kind of like a band that would perform in like Westchester, Pennsylvania parks. This gross music that doesn't really have a home unless the brother's like smacking poop on Ryan Dunn's face, jumping off of things. And then all of a sudden you hear a song about, I caught my daughter giving head to my brother while that's happening, which is a masterpiece of a song, by the way.
That's a great song.
It's a great song. It's unbelievable. It turns into like Black Sabbath, like crazy riffs and stuff. You're like, this is nuts. And you're like, wait, all of this was meant to happen, and these two guys come from the same family where, you know, you're a parent, you're probably thinking like, holy fuck, what would I do if those were like my kids, you know, like, but also like, guess what people do when those are their kids now? They pump them full of medication, and then that's a whole nother nightmare. You know, like, it's like these kids, like, what they were, the parents, there's like legitimately like Phil and April are like probably not good parents. Like I see these retrospectives on BAM, they're like, yeah, we didn't really do chores around the house. It's not really our thing. And like discipline, it's like, oh, we just gotta let kids be kids. And like, meanwhile, like Ryan Dunn flips over a Taurus going 100 miles an hour with your like 16-year-old son in there, and they're like, Ryan, you're crazy, man.
They're such little assholes. I've always thought about that and wondered about that with like back when I'd like watch Viva La Bam. And I just kind of reason like, well, the parents are probably making a shit ton of money off this too, so they're just like letting it go. But it's like, how do you even like create this in the beginning? And that whole friend group is like, there's a lot of them and they're all on the same level.
So what happened, it's weird because every time I think I know the genesis of CKY, like 5 years prior, something happens. Like, I'm like, oh, in 1992, actually something. I'm like, well, okay. So here's where I know where it starts at. There's Jess Margera along with a couple other guys start the band CKY. And then meanwhile, Bam is a sponsored skater and he's making these skate videos because growing up, the dad, Phil Margera, who, if you know Bam, you know Phil. He's a very big part of it, oftentimes the butt of the joke. But you realize when you see a lot of the early skits that Phil was involved in all the skits, even as an actor. Like, he's like acting as a shop owner and all of these things. So you know he's in on the whole thing, obviously, even if he is genuinely shocked and pissed off at 2 a.m. of his son kicking his ass when he has to be at work at like 4 a.m. Like, I was like, dude, I'll fucking kill you if you do that to me, man. Like, straight up. But you realize that Bam is a good skater. In fact, he's a great skater. He's probably never going to be the greatest skater of all time. He's probably not going to have this, like, you know, whoever the best is, you know, there's a million different debates on that. But you realize halfway through, I guess he said he would, because Phil filmed everything they were doing when they were kids, like skating, jumping off of stuff. He was like a big sports guy, but he's like, my kids are active, but they're not into like sports. So he's like, I stopped watching sports and just filmed everything they were doing. He had this big, massive camera that he would take to skate parks and film Bam skating. And then meanwhile, half the time they would just be jumping off of shit half the time, like with no skateboard. And he'd be like, this is probably not good. But then meanwhile, Bam is like doing all this editing. And if you know, one of the big reasons I wanted to do this is because the 2010s Bam Margera that everyone sees as like a meme, it is definitely its own source of entertainment. I find it very sad, to be honest. But this guy's actually really good and smart and funny, and I love him. Like, he's really smart and really dedicated. I mean, part of the reason he fell off is because he wasn't doing drugs until he was 25, which is a type of guy that oftentimes spirals into horrible addiction in his 30s and 40s, is when he first gets a taste of it in his mid-20s before not having bad experiences before that to kind of wane you off in your teens. And but Phil is filming all of this, and Bam is putting together these compilations and selling them. He's just like selling them, and skaters are coming by. Word of mouth is happening. And from what I gather, his first initial run of CKY stuff, he was a millionaire off of that, off selling tapes.
No way. Like the CK1, was it Land Speed or? I think
so. And I could be having those numbers. Like, I feel like, again, we're talking.
I remember reading him. He put up some big numbers for that.
Well,
I wonder what like selling as like VHS tapes and
because you look at CKY1, it's very measured. It's very like, okay, I have this in front of me. I have this in front of me. What's the funniest thing we can do? But then by CKY2K, they're in Iceland and they have sports cars and stuff. Because you're like, it hit big, and this is pre-Jackass. Jackass did not happen yet, so you're like, Bam's not making all this money off of skating, though there is income from that. He 411, which was a skate video distribution company. I used to have 411 VM was a VHS tape that I had that I really liked growing up. But they would distribute it. I think that was his first main distributor, and they would sell it. And he said these things were like flying off the shelves. People were like pissed off that they wouldn't get them. All the skate shops like nationally would sell them. And 411 told him, they were like, oh, it's only sold in America. And he goes, this is your numbers, and it's only being sold in America. And Bam's like, well, bullshit, man. I just went over to Iceland and kids were asking me to autograph their fucking Iceland copies of it. And so like he was already getting scammed off of that because he was a young kid, basically. And, we'll skim a little off the top. We'll sell it like nationally. But this dude, I don't think anybody, including people who gave him money or who were able to distribute it or signal boost him a little bit, I don't think anybody was ready for how much this would take off, like it's crazy.
Yeah, that's kind of a through line of his career work with these people, is just getting taken advantage of through like Jackass and whoever you worked with, because essentially, I mean, my understanding was that is Bam and Novak,
Novak,
what they're discovered by like Tony Hawk and
Yeah, Brandon's 13 years old and like on heroin.
Yeah,
Brandon Novak. It's kind
oh,
of
dude,
sad.
he's dark, dude. The like progression of like Jack and everything, and he just becomes dark.
Yeah, and you see them. They're all like at the bar, like talking shit, and Brandon Novak's like fucking, and he's like doing that like vagrant style junkie stuff, and he's not even like 20.
Right.
He's not even like 20 in the thing. You're like, oh my gosh. I mean, he's doing like sobriety stuff now, you know, like which hopefully that's the thing.
Yeah.
But like. Yeah. Anyways, you were saying like it's Bam and Novak and Dunn and all of these guys.
Focus on skating. Then like you said, I don't know. There's multiple origin points. There's something about them all meeting or like doing this stuff because they had like a shared like graphic design class. I'm guessing in like high school. I thought it was like college or something.
Yeah, high school is a very formative thing for them because Rab himself, who looks like 12 in the CKY,
he's so funny. He's such a goofy.
He's hysterical. I mean, he is him and Brandon DiCamillo are the funniest fucking people.
He's got that like that laugh where you can like see all like top bottom of his teeth.
I legitimately looked like that, like because I looked really young, like all the time, like I was a late bloomer and stuff. So like when I was like 16, I like looked like that. And I had the fucking stupid like chick, like baby chick hair, like that's like should be buzzed or grown out. It's like in between constantly, and then the braces and stuff. But what's funny is you can tell that Rab himself, he already got kicked out of school for like shitting in someone's locker, and you could tell like Bam's like, fuck yeah, dude, that's
the shit guy. Yeah,
and then like Brandon DiCamillo is like the voice guy. And what was funny about me is I always hung around skaters in high school, and I had a skateboard. I could ride it. I could like ride around skate parks. Getting off the ground, never my thing. Like I was always just like I think there were a few skate videos I like filmed. They sucked, right? But it was just the fun. Like you have to kind of know how to skate. Actually, you have to really know how to skate to do a skate video because you're riding a board and filming at the same time. Didn't go well, but I was funny at the time. So like they would keep you around because you were funny. Now if you were like lame at skating and not cool, that was when everybody got on you. It was but these guys like got in where they fit in, you know, like Ryan Dunn was a crazy stunt guy. Like he was just like a crazy drive. Now, obviously it didn't end well, but like he would drive 120 miles an hour in a Ford Taurus, like through like rural Pennsylvania. So it's like, okay, we have a guy that does that. We have Rake Yon, who's like in between the band and the skate. He's not in the band, but he looks like he could be in the band, CKY. And then he's also there, but he's just gross. Oh,
he's so rancid, dude.
When he's getting his ass eaten in CKY by a random girl on the street, and you're just like, wow, people, and like just eating Rake Yon's ass. I mean, like what that woman, you're like, what is going on with you? Are you okay?
Oh, I know, dude. It's so funny. Because my kid's 6, so she's been home with me today, and I've been doing DiCamillo's like Rake voicer all day, just woody woo.
Yeah,
woo,
I know. And the rab himself, yeah, kitty.
Yeah.
Kitty, you don't like this? I love that shit, dude.
Did you watch Haggard? Have you seen that one?
I did. I have, but not for this. Yeah. There was many years ago. That's the problem. Is like, dude, the DVDs. I tried to find DVDs. They're expensive as fuck right now.
Oh, yeah.
Like, these things are relics. Like, but Haggard is special to me because we use that word a lot in high school. Like, and you realize you're like, fuck, we got that from Bam.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Like everything was from Bam. Like everything fun was like in high school and middle school was just from Bam. But what was happening in Haggard?
Just like Rab does that voice the entire time, and it's so fucking funny.
With the cats, the stray cats is the fun. I don't know why it has me in fucking stitches. Like there's it's like because I love picturing the friend dynamic where Rab's just like, I have to constantly be doing something crazy because I can't skate, you know, or like I'm just not good at this shit, or you know, he's probably an okay skater, but not enough to be, you know, hitting, you know, 12 stairs and stuff and like, you know, anything to make the movie. So him and Brandon DiCamillo are just like, they're just like almost competing with each other to like get their comedy in there, even though like we just want more of both of them all the time. And the way these movies work is like, you'll see the skit, you'll see actual legit skate runs, like where you're like, oh wow, you're like expecting the guys to fall, and you're like, oh wait, that was actually really fucking sick. Wow.
Yeah.
You know, and then you see people falling all the time, and then it'll be Bam's comedy, which is actually really funny. He was like really funny when he would just walk. He was really good at like bothering you on the street, not like doing anything to you, like, but he has this one that kills me where he's at some sort of festival. I can't tell if it's a skate festival or a music festival. And he's walking, and this guy, and it's like a bunch of kids. He goes, "You guys like ska?" He's like, you guys like ska? And then the guy's like, yeah, I like ska. He goes, ska's fucking gay. Like, yeah, I was just like, that was literally why I can't stop saying gay and retarded now, is like, because I've been doing it for so many years, you know, and these guys are like, when you watch it, your relationship with these guys, if you're a little bit younger than them than I was, we're the same generation, but I think I'm about 4 or 5 years younger than them. And you're just like, these are my older brother's friends. I don't even have an older brother, but I had friends, older brothers, that were like, what can we do to not look like fucking retards in front of these kids? And then half the time it's like, actually, you need to look like retard. Like, that's the only reason they'll hang out with you is because you're kind of laughing at you a little bit.
Totally.
And you're picturing yourself like, what could I do to make these guys laugh? You know, and like make the like stand out to these. It's actually kind of embarrassing, you know, like to like think of yourself that way. But we all were like that.
That was like that was the whole tone of Haggard, which was funny because like the story centers on whatever character Ryan Dunn plays, and he's all torn up over this girl that he's on a Jen Revell, that she's they took a break and then she gets fingered by Rick. And he's so upset about that. But the whole tone of the, like, he's the center of the story, but the whole tone of the movie is like, this guy's a total faggot for being concerned with this woman, and what a bitch, you know?
Yeah.
And that, dude, that's totally like so much of this, like you're saying, you watch them now and like the kind of experimental production of it stands out and like survives across time. But there is a whole portion, like the whole lot of CKY was a bit of like, you had to be there, like meaning you had to be like a middle school boy and
nostalgic. We're laughing nostalgically, you know.
Because like it really did just consume. Like Bam is like, he always like permanently has like a chubby middle school boy face too. Like he's just like,
despite being bulimic, he was bulimic that whole time. I watched this Vice documentary, which is really funny because Bam's actually an awesome podcast guest. Anytime he goes on a podcast, he's awesome. Even when he's like schizo, kind of like strung out, he's still really funny. Which you understand why like people give him like 80 chances, because he's really fucking funny, and you're like, God, I would fall for that every damn time. Like, and but he was talking about all sorts of that, like all sorts of funny stuff, like just on those podcasts about. I'm trying. What were we just talking about? The
is like middle school baby face.
Yeah, he was he was on Vice. There was a Vice thing though, like about where they're kind of like, what happened to Bam Margera? Like kind of condescending a little bit, like very Vice, like some guy with stupid glasses on, like just Bam, you know. That was a big thing in the 2015 to like 2020 Come Town. They all wanted to use him as this like lol cow like guy to laugh at. Right. I didn't find any of it funny. I remember I listened to Come Town at the time and I was like, this is fucking stupid.
Yeah, I don't like that.
I was like, this is like, this guy's cooler than you. Yeah. You know, and I'm not even hating on them. I just mean, this guy's cooler than you. I hope you know that. Like, and the whole reason your shit is about being gay with your dad, the podcast about being gay with your dad, the only reason anybody has a fucking fan base is because we all came from CKY. Right. And Jackass and all of that stuff. Like, that's the same humor. So it's like, it's really weird to do stuff like that to like people, you know. But anyways, he's in this DVD or whatever, this thing, and he's like, and I got like bulimic because his dad was like really fat, and he's like, I really don't want to be fat. He goes, I have to skate.
I could totally see that.
Yeah, he's like, I have to skate, because you could see right now, like, he's fighting that body type his whole life.
He's filled out. Yeah, that's like his genetic destiny.
Like, if he has a bad month eating, he's Phil. You know what I mean?
That was the funniest shit, like on like him around Phil and Don Vito, and it's like just these like,
oh my god,
behemoths, and I could see him being bulimic.
Yeah, they said I guess April was like, especially back in the dude, like he was shirtless constantly. Girls loved him. That was the other psychological thing as a Bam Margera fan. You're like, wait, you love this guy, but I jumped off the fucking the theater the other day, and you didn't laugh at that.
Yeah,
you know? And it's like, oh wait, that's because this guy's fucking famous and funnier than me, and
that used to bug the shit about. Like Johnny Knoxville made sense because he's like the pretty boy of the group. Yeah, you know. Yeah, but
Bam is striking looking. Like when you see him, like he has like you could definitely tell like on camera. But girls loved him with the him tattoo. I remember the heartogram stuff. They loved him. But it was like, it's funny because you're just like, oh, this is how I get girls. I'll just do the Bam stuff, and they're like, no, you don't understand it. Like the first CKY, there's no girls in it. Because they probably aren't around. And he talked about after that came out, he's like, all of a sudden I'm invited to every high school party. Like after CKY comes out and they find out I'm like sponsored skater. Because he goes, for a while, like skaters weren't like that cool in school. They were kind of just like burnout junkie guys that So he's
Right.
like, I wasn't invited to like the jock parties or anything. Like once I got to high school, it was like it kind of that all like merged together.
Uh-huh.
But I think it was pretty segregated at that time. And then CKY 2, you have like girls just like nude in it and stuff, like or
Right, yeah.
CKY 2K and stuff. It's like that's why you what I say now is like for anybody who's making art to like get girls, like just make art that you like, and if it's successful, the girls will like it automatically. So don't make girl art for a girl.
No.
Like don't do
No.
that. Like it doesn't work. Like I'm just
No.
saying it doesn't work. Like they have to look and they're like, wow, he's on MTV. Wow. And then they immediately like it. So
Yeah.
that's just the way I've that's a big I've seen a lot of people who are like starting out and they're like, this is gonna be my girl song. I'm gonna write a song for girls.
No,
and it's
sound like a pussy. And
you sound like a pussy, dude. Like I mean, if it's natural, if that's what you're naturally doing, go ahead. But like it's just you gotta girls will like anything as long as you look like you're succeeding at it.
Dude, this came at a good time for me because I've been like working on the mag and like with the design work I've been doing. I got really into like Von Oliver, like 4AD album cover kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And I feel like if you see his stuff, it's like it's really pretty. And I really just kind of got to a point where like I'm spending like most of my days thinking about like making shit look pretty, you know. And that gets to a point where like, dude, what kind of a pussy am I becoming? And so like watching like CKY it's like the way they slap these things together is I don't know, recalibrated.
And it's so primal. You realize
Yeah.
it's like God, this is why it works so well, is because you're like, if you're a guy, I don't know what young men think about nowadays because I just don't even see kids playing outside anymore.
I don't know. Yeah, this instinct, they're like this impulse.
Yeah, I don't know. But like when you're with I was just like, that's the dumbest idea you can think of. Somebody did it basically. That's when you watch CKY. You're like, wouldn't it be funny if I like took a shit off of like the overpass? And then you look and it's like, and then guess what? Brandon DiCamillo took 19 X-Lax and shit off the fucking and Rab himself. I think it was Rab himself that did a lot of that stuff, which later became Aaron McGahee in Jackass. But he would just take like 19 X-Lax and sprint as fast as he could and like shit his pants. And you're just like no, anybody now it's like, well, why would you do that? I'm like, oh, you're right. Why would you do it? But everyone's thought about it.
Oh yeah,
that's a weird guy thing. Like it's a weird guy thing, you know. Like
I was thinking about no, go on.
No, because what I meant was I remember asking my wife once when like the burner was really hot, like you know, like just the coil burner like on the stove was really hot and it's bright red. I'm like, don't you sometimes want to just fucking smack your hand?
Totally.
Like, and she goes, no. And I was like, wow. I was like, yeah, that's maybe we are different. Like that's like that's because I don't not going to do it, but. I like you think about like it would be so crazy to just fucking headbutt that thing real fast. Like what would happen? Obviously, we know what would happen. Like, but it's just there's like that weird unknown thing. Like I think we kind of want to hurt ourselves a lot.
We when I was first hanging out with my girlfriend, we're just having a couple of cigs, and she caught me just sitting like staring at like you know the lit end of it. She's like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "Oh, I was just imagining sticking that right into my eye and like what that would look like, and my contact lens like bubbling." She's like, "Oh, just sit and think about that shit."
They don't know. They cannot compute that you would think.
Yeah, but no, we do that shit like in high schools, like out here, Lolo, Montana. We didn't have shit to do, so it's like my buddy and I would like go to. I remember like the cotton candy blizzard became a thing, and we'd get like the largest cotton candy, extra candy with the intent to make us like vomit. And it worked. And just like on like one of those old LG flip phones, just like this pink projectile vomit kind of shit.
I love it.
Or we'd like, I was thinking about this with like DiCamillo was like, woody woo. His voice, like my buddy Zach and I, we would, there's a pond down here. And there's like a few weekends where we just like go out there, just be ass naked for like a couple hours. And I don't think like a human sound came out of our mouths that entire time.
Yeah.
We're just making these animal noises, and it was the funniest shit.
And you hate to sound like a boomer, and it's kind of hack, but like you didn't have a phone. You didn't have.
The internet.
The internet was pretty finite. Like you couldn't spend all day on the internet. I mean, some people did, but that was weird if you did. You know, like if you spent all day on the internet, you were like a kind of a weird kid back then. Sorry for anybody who's listening that was like 40 years old that spent all the time on the internet. That was a niche thing. That was like that guy's into computers. You know, like you were just like knew your friend. Like you're like, well, yeah, he does that all day. So you're just like, well, okay. That's why CKY 1 is so magical. The first one is like because it's straight up like, what if we just fucking jumped into that pine tree? Like that pine tree. It's very much the burner that I'm talking about. It's like that pine tree's been staring at me the whole time. I need to conquer it. It's like a man conquering nature kind of situation. But you're not. You're like hoping you lose. You know, that's what the beauty of CKY. You're like, if I lose, this rules. And I remember Bam talking about the difference between a skate video and just shithead jumping off of stuff. He goes, it doesn't, you can get the take right the first time because it's like whatever happens, that's what makes the film. He's like, with skating, you spend 8 hours trying to like clear something, you know, or you know, trying to whatever on the ledge or something. You're trying to do all these things. And he was talking about when he got to Jackass or when MTV started getting involved, which I have a little bit more of a disdain from the more I learn about the ins and outs of CKY, is you get the Jeff Tremaines, you get all these MTV directors, and they're like, I remember this when it happened. They had the skate loop in the backyard, and it was Tony Hawk was there as a huge, and the director was like this guy, and he's like, all right, do the loop and action, and they're like, dude, this is gonna take like 5 hours for us to get this, and he's like, what? He's like, yeah, no, he's like, this is hard. Like, you want us to do that? And he's like, oh, I thought you guys just like do it every time. And he's like, no. And so that's why Jackass complicated a lot of stuff, because it was like the CKY thing, they had all an understanding of what was to happen. They're like, we have nothing to do today. We're going to drive around. Brandon D. Camille used to talk about like he would prank call half the people or like fuck up their mailbox because they didn't tip him. Like he was like, these are the people that stiffed me on a tip. So now they're going to be in a video. Or the shit dollar, right? Which I don't know if they started, but the shit dollar is one of the funniest pranks I've ever seen in my life. Like it kills me every time. For anyone who doesn't know, again, these are all on Internet Archive. You can find them. They're pretty much all on there. I know that all the CKYs are, but somebody would wipe their ass with $1, like, and I'm talking like fresh shit, like wipe their ass with it, and you turn the dollar over on the ground and you film somebody by an ATM pick it up and kind of like, and one guy picks up, it's like this geezer guy picks it up and stuffs it into his pocket. And he's like, oh, what the fuck? And he's like,
he smells his fingers.
and Bam the whole time goes, dude, we got to get him to sign the NDA, man. We got to get him to sign the NDA. Like, so he could show his face. And the guy's like in the party, he's like, why would you do that? He goes, well, you didn't have to pick the dollar up. No one said you fucking had to do that. He goes, well, of course I'm going to pick the freaking dollar up, man. And but it's funny the whole time you just realize you're like, well, they are showing this guy's face, so he did sign that probably. You know, you're like, after a while they probably got him to do it.
I was wondering how many people even signed. You know, because there's a lot of footage out in public. I don't remember one face like blurred out.
I think some are orchestrated, like the ones where they're kicking. Like, I love this skit too. The one where they're kicking field goals into oncoming traffic
as like Frenchmen.
I think one guy was Don Vito. So I was like, oh shit, that's Don Vito drive. But it was before anyone knew who Don Vito was. So it was like, I was like, are all those it doesn't matter. It's still hysterical. But the one that is really funny, and I think as you get older and maybe a little more conservative in your actions, it actually becomes funnier, is where they throw the dummy off a bridge onto a car.
Oh, that
driving.
Shit. Yeah.
Because you know how pissed you would be if you were driving, or how scared you would be if you were driving and that happened. But also that's why it's funny. Like, that's why it's funny, because you, like, as a kid, you're like, why is that guy getting so mad? It's just a prank. Like, you know, you're like, what a loser. You're like, no, I understand why that guy's getting so mad. But also you look down and you see it's a dummy, and the guy's just mad because it scared him, not because like, you know, they just would throw it off a thing, and they probably had to film it like 50 times. That's so hard to time, right? You know, to have it hit the thing. And we used to do that with water balloons. Again, not as cool. If you film it, it's not nearly as cool. And you're also a pussy because once the guy, you're gonna forget to film it once the guy gets out of the car.
Well, then everyone runs, and that's funny. Like, his band goes up acting all aloof, and he's like, "It wasn't me, and it's just newspaper, dude. It's full of newspaper."
He's like, I told the guy who dropped it was a bad idea.
Yeah, exactly.
Such a shithead. And you know, like, half the time in the back of his mind, he's like, I'm down to get clocked right now on TV by this guy. Like, I'm actually down if this guy really punches me. And that's why these guys are so good at it. Because I remember when it came out, I remember when the Phil stuff was happening, and my dad was like, don't you fucking dare do that shit to me. Like, he's like, if you, like, it was kind of just like this like Hellraiser cube that opens up where he's like, don't, like, he was like, wait, because it's primal to him too, I'm sure. He was like, oh no, this is an answer that we should have never sought out. Like, what is entertaining to young men? Like, this is like, so anyone can do this. And my dad's like, don't you fucking dare. And and he's just like, this is not, you're not him, I'm not Phil. And then I remember my mom coming in and she was like, when I was watching Jackass, and she's like, this is really gay. Like, and she meant it like, this is homosexual. And I'm a 13-year-old kid, like, no, it's not.
It didn't register at all
Not
time,
at all. I was like, that guy running with his dick out and slapping it on someone's face is not gay. And like,
it's like dicks are just funny. You
not understand art, media literacy on my mom all day. And then I find out. Then I listen to Bret Easton Ellis podcast. How many years later? And he goes, "Oh yeah, I used to love Jackass. That was the way you'd watch gay pornography. Like like you're like, damn it."
Is it the third one where they have the gay fags skit where it's just them rollerblading? That's the main thing I remembered. Is that I remember the gay fags and Rake getting shit on while he's having his picnic date or whatever.
That I know that one's funny. And you can find out when you find out that Rake Yon is a biochemist now, you realize you're like, wait, he is a little more conservative because that's like chocolate pudding going on.
Oh yeah. He's the only one that didn't
get shit on.
He's like a vax guy too. He's like vaxxed up in his Instagram bio and shit.
Yeah. That's they can't all be winners, but I did see that. I was like, as soon as I heard biochemist, I'm like, I'm not even gonna. Yeah, I already know what this is about.
It is funny, like the ones that kind of lay off a bit because like they definitely don't. Yeah, they don't shit on Rake. Who's the lead singer? Darren Miller.
Yes,
they don't fuck with him too much because he's kind of like.
They don't fuck with Mike Valle ever because Mike Valle will fucking destroy. That guy's so scary.
Yeah.
When he dude, because I felt bad. The one guy I really felt bad for was the Mike Valle sketch. And maybe it's in the CKY DVD, but there's actually a video of Mike Valle just beating the shit out of like 5 skaters. It's incredible. It literally looks like Marvel, like a Marvel guy. Like, hey punk, you fucking asshole, and he just beats the shit out of everybody. But there's a landscaper for like a parking lot. I felt really bad for that. Actually, that guy. Yeah,
that guy's just like, dude, I gotta clean up this shit.
He's like, dude, I get it that what you're doing is fun. He's like, but it fucks me up because I gotta come out of park. Like, no, you don't, dude. No, you don't.
Like, the fuck
out. He's like,
he just has him by the throat.
You just put the worder on the plants tomorrow. And like they start and then Mike Valle like fucking like gets him in like a headlock and. Again, if this is fake, it's like brilliantly acted because I'm like, that guy legitimately looks like, oh shit, I shouldn't have come over here. And Mike Valle, like they never, but long story short, they're not rubbing shit on Mike Valle's bald head ever. Is never happening. But Ryan Dunn's the guy who can't handle it, but they always do it to him. That's like their ultimate their ultimate guinea pig is Ryan Dunn. Where because there's one where I can't remember if it's I think it's Brandon D. Camille where he just literally films himself shit coming out of his ass into this. I think it's CKY 2K. It's like the opening with masterpiece. I mean, truly like the magnum opus of anything Bam's ever done at CKY.
That one's so good
because it's artful as fuck.
It's
like
artful.
The Iceland stuff, like where Halcyon On and On is playing. And like, whoa, this is like
some Bjork and the Aphex Twin sequence too.
Yeah, it's crazy. And you could tell like it was like, okay, the stakes are leveled up a little bit, but it still has that feel. It doesn't like over expand, which I like. And there's always moments when you watch these 4 where you're like, oh fuck, is this when they start losing it? And you think it, and then all of a sudden they play the hits again, and it's just shitting on your friend. And but there's the sketch that's really revolting is like Brandon D. Camille films like I mean an insane like psyllium husk shit like out of his ass. And then wipes it raw, and then goes to Ryan Dunn, gets it in his ear while he's sleeping. You can tell Ryan Dunn's like blackout drunk, hammered. Like
that's a funny, because he's like out. He doesn't budge. It's like on his lip and
it's on his lip and everything. He wakes up because of the smell. You can tell. Like that's the most mortifying part of it. Is like it's one thing if you like, why are people touching me? And you wake up and you're like, that's gross. And then you're like, oh, he woke up because of the disgusting smell. And these guys are eating fucking Donald's every day, probably. You know what I mean? Like eating, it's probably just toxic waste.
It just smells like a foot in there.
It's so gross. And then, but then like Ryan Dunn like stands over him and just full like 40 ounces, night full of 40 ounces, like pisses all over him, like in his face, dude, like while he's sleeping. Like it's like one of those like total like beer pisses where it like never stops.
Oh, dude, yeah, you gotta imagine too, like how much of drinking and just like because that was like 2-4 in the morning, so that was like thick yellow dehydrated piss,
Yeah, and you wonder too because you're just like Bam is like. the whole time, like, you could tell they're in Iceland for like some skate thing, probably some
Yeah.
sort of like element or toy machine appearance. But they're like, let me bring all my guys. Like, he probably has more money than he can even count
Yeah.
at the time. And he's like, let me just bring our guys and we'll just film CKY 2K like it basically all the time, which is like really proto YouTube, proto streamer, proto all of these
Yeah.
things where like that's not that hard to do right now. But like you're talking
No.
about film equipment, cameramen constantly, like, you know, this is nuts.
And the way he edited too was very just kind of like just I don't know, the way they chop things together is very loose and fun. He has his like more like the Aphex Twin sequence. You can tell that like Bam's directed music videos and shit because it's like really expertly done. But just the way they like decide what to put together is just like so all over the place.
Yeah,
it's fun. Did you see the it's like him versus Bam, the documentary he did?
I watched a little bit of it. I fucking cannot stand the band Him. I never have been able, like, their music sucks, dude.
I've never understood it. I've tried to this time. I like the Daniel Lionide dude who like does the Viva intro.
Yes, yeah,
for guitar. It's like he's dope, but
I'm like, dude, you have a way sicker band that you're like blood related to use any of their music.
It's so strange.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, Him is like nobody understood it. Bam got really into Him, and everyone was like, why?
Yeah,
like, I don't know, but anyways, you were saying
it's really weird sad boy stuff. But yeah, the way he even like put together that documentary was very like proto YouTube, and the way he like talks to the camera in his office and chops it together is there's definitely like I mean that's a key distinction between like if you want to like do like Bam versus like Knoxville and Tremaine. I was thinking like have you read that Brett Easton Ellis essay on like Empire, post Empire? I think he wrote
white. It's in white, right?
He mentions it in there. He wrote it during.
I don't think I read it, but I know the gist of it. But
the whole gist, because it's like
what is it? What, for anyone who hasn't know,
basically, I mean, he wrote this during like Charlie Sheen's his Tiger Blood moment, you know, yeah. And I mean, his whole point is about like, you know, Empire versus post-Empire, and that we're in this post-Empire age of, you know, the entertainment has moved behind the scenes, and like Jackass and like all this is definitely part of like the post-Empire moment. But I think I was thinking about this watching it because like Knoxville and Tremaine definitely have more of an old like studio based sensibility, and even like Knoxville too is like his like outward inspirations are like Evel Knievel, and he kind of reminds me of like, you know, Seth MacFarlane. The way he's like, he likes that sort of like tap dancing, top hat, giant cane pulls you off the stage, like old style of a comedy. Whereas like Bam is very much more, again, like proto YouTube. He's a much more post Empire figure in that sense.
And you have, I mean, yeah, because the merge of Jackass, which I believe happens right around CKY 3, I want to say. I think it's right. I think
yeah, because like that's when Knoxville shows up.
Yeah, you see all of them in there. You see Jeff Tremaine. You see, like, I think they basically. Again, this is another like proto streamer thing, is like making your own documentary while doing something else, basically. Yeah. Like it's kind of very much like iDub Sam Hyde kind of situation that's happening, where they're like doing a lot of the pranks they're doing on the Jackass people. They're getting reactions that you don't get in the Jackass movie. They're like, dude, what the fuck? Like, we're done. Like, and they're like, no, this is for CKY, dude. This is for fucking CKY. And like, you know, and it's really funny because but yeah, with Knoxville, and again, I loved all that stuff growing up. I loved Jackass. I loved it all. But like looking back, Knoxville worked for Big Brother magazine, which was a skate magazine, and I think they were trying to like it's LA based, right? So like LA, I love California, but like people in LA think that like they're on the cutting edge of a lot of stuff all the time. But when they realize, they're like, well, this kid is like fucking us over in like Westchester, Pennsylvania. Like this kid is like doing something that we cannot do out here. Like people don't care about the. Not people don't care, but like a mass audience is not caring about Eric Costin clearing this rail in LA, you know, clearing this gap in LA. Like people care, but only skaters care about that. But like this kid over here is combining comedy, organic comedy, like that like you really can't write. In fact, the more orchestrated skits are, the worse usually that band does. Like it's like that they're doing. He's like, we got to bring this to LA. And then I have my rodeo clown guy, Steve-O, who, you know, look, Steve-O is what he is. I fucking can't listen to that guy talk for longer than like 10 minutes, but you know, yeah, man. Oh yeah, Knoxville, man. You know, like just that. Oh my gosh, dude. Yeah, and like these guys are they try to like maximize everything, and you immediately realize like how the reason CKY was cool was because everyone understood what it was.
Right.
Like in the group, right? In the
Yeah.
group. Brandon DiCamillo, I think he's only in the first Jackass, and you don't see him after a while. And he doesn't want to do any of that.
He's like a family man now.
He
right?
is, and he also just didn't want to do any of that stuff. He's like, this is not what there's always one guy in every massive thing that blows up that's like, hey, I didn't really want this to blow up. You know, like I kind of wanted this to be a thing like your secret little tapes.
We're just
your secret tapes. Like if you knew about it, you knew about it. Like, and he's like, but on like MTV with directors and all these moving parts, which the beauty of CKY is that there's like 5 moving parts, massive.
Yeah.
So to make it this big machine, and you watch it on and some of that Jackass stuff is still brilliant. But you're like, man, the CKY stuff I think ages 10 times better in my opinion,
right?
Because we search for something organic now. Like we search for like non-orchestrated humor a lot of times, and it's part of like it's kind of like this postmodernism movement that we're in right now. At least I am. Like I want to know what earnestly that you want to do, like in earnest, and like even if it's the dumbest thing of all time, it looks so natural. Whereas like, yeah, guys, it's like, you know, we built a gigantic ramp in a backyard. It was all headed that way. It's
right.
It's a natural rise and fall trajectory in a way, but it was just like, it's kind of sad when you watch the Jackass stuff happen a little bit now that you see what happened to all of them. Fallouts and Jackass. The last Jackass was awful. They have like Zoomers doing the tough stunts for them, but they're all these like streamer guys that aren't like, that was the worst part. Guys named Poopies. And you're just like, come on, dude. Like this is terrible. And it was they kind of, again, you realize why they kind of didn't want Bam to be a part of it, because he was not in a good mental state, but also they needed him bad. Yeah. You know, like this shit does not work without him. Like and you know, it's tough.
He doesn't sound down to, I mean, he definitely it sounds like he just hates Knoxville out of everyone. He's like, doesn't.
And Tremaine's
Tremaine too. Yeah. I mean, I could see. I mean, some of my favorite movie experiences were like even the new shitty one. Like they're all like my favorite movie going experiences. Seeing Jackass in theaters like the funniest shit to me. And like I remember like Jackass 2 and 3 specifically. And 3 is like not one of the, like 2 I think is their best, but like that was the funniest shit. Like,
1 and 2 are classics. 1 and 2 are like, it's still classic.
Oh, they're so good. Yeah. And that was like a packed theater, and like everyone left as friends. Like you didn't want it to end. It was so funny. But Bam said something too recently about like what getting big, and his main thing was really at the end of the day he just wanted to skate. And when you kind of make it big like that, and you like you're saying that, you know, you build the you try to get that specific stunt or whatever. It's like, dude, you're just like you go from like skating 8 hours a day to like down to like 1, maybe like 30 minutes. And the rest is all like setting up crew and production and all this bullshit. And you're like, you're doing less and less of the thing that you're trying to capture on film. And he's kind of saying too, like even now he's like, he kind of likes that you can just like, now you can just post, just film and post.
He's ahead of his time, man. He's ahead of his time. Like, I dude, first off, he has like 2 Instagrams and there's a post every hour on them. It's crazy. Oh yeah.
He's like touring and shit too. Like he's all over the place.
I think he's a guy that the wheels have to be moving, because the minute he even said, he's like, the reason I was drinking so much because I didn't literally like had no structure. Bored. I had no structure. He's like, there was things to do, but they were all destructive. He's like, and I mean, when he built Castle Bam and had that done for Viva La Bam, which I think Viva La Bam is like perfect. I mean, it's like that was such a great show. It was kind of the end of what you could do, the absolute zenith of what you could do with that construction of the family. It still takes place in Pennsylvania, so you get the CKY kind of nostalgia parts of it. A lot of his friends are still there, and you because what the fuck else are they gonna do, you know? Like of course they're gonna be part of this. But then like at the same time, you know, he realizes like, damn, you just kept that place open, you just gave the gate code out to people constantly. And you know, he's a classic, like, everybody's as honest and good natured as I am, you know, and it's a false equivalency you do with a lot of people. I've had to learn that the hard way a few times. I'm like, oh, that guy's cool for sure. Yeah. And you're like, no, actually he's not, you know, but like he was talking about, I felt so bad for him because again, this all comes in handy, like when you're growing up and you have bills and stuff, you realize like how crazy this was. He would be gone for a while, Spain or whatever, but his house would be open. He's like, oh yeah, people could go skate there if they want. He's like, I love that for young kids. Like, I never want them to be without like a cool place to skate. And like, but he had one of those massive like skate parks inside his house with verts and, you know, all this crazy stuff, and the lighting on top. He said, but my one rule is if you're gonna go in my home, you got to turn the lights off afterwards. And nobody would ever do it. So they'd have those massive warehouse lights on the whole time, and he would get like an alert from the power company like, dude, your bill's gonna be like $50,000. And he's like, what? And it's like, dude, yeah, you're trusting retarded skater kids.
Oh yeah, yeah.
To like pick up, and he's like, all my 2 rules are pick up your beer bottles and turn the light off. And they don't do that. And he was talking about like, obviously junkie skaters are gonna like come into your house and do this too. And he said like you had a video camera of this one guy. I think it was his old classmate, which this I feel bad for, because you want to like give that guy your benefit of the doubt. You're like, that's my old friend John or whatever. He would go into the people's cars and break into everybody's car on camera. And like when confronted, he did that like just obnoxious, that crazy out of just insane junkie lying that only makes sense to them.
Right.
And he's like, oh, I thought those were my cars. And he's just like, dude, bring the shit back, you know? And he's like, it's the first time I had to get police involved. He goes, because he was stealing from other people. Like Bam's like down for himself to be a sacrificial lamb, but the minute like other people get hurt, and you know, you really learn more when Ryan Dunn dies. Like that's like really like, holy shit! Like all the thing I was doing was like, all the stuff I was doing was actually real. You know, he dies drinking like an insane amount and just crashes into a fucking tree, and it's just like. Obviously, and there's all these like clips of April telling Ryan Dunn, "You're gonna die in a car accident," and he's like, "Actually, I'm gonna die in a flaming car accident, April," like as a joke, and it's like that's actually what happened, you know? And it's fucking crazy, and
dude, yeah, it turns into like the Jesse Pinkman meth house, you know? He's like loaded and just all these hanger. That's how people are too. Like, it's not your house; people are just gonna trash it, and that's what's kind of lovable about him is like, and what makes him so easy, you know, get taken advantage of like that.
Yeah.
Cause he is kind of like, when I was younger and like, I liked him, but I'd like watch Viva La Bam and I really bought into the whole, like, I'm going to do whatever the fuck I want. Like this guy's a fucking asshole, but he is kind of a sweetheart. And that's probably too with like his like interest in like him, this sort of like faggy emo shit, you know,
From the 5 to the 6, we be in the mix. With that red candy paint job on the whip. I need food for the kids, money for the rent. Fuck a lockdown, baby, can't do shit.
It's terrible because like otherwise like the CKY musical arrangement and he put a lot of thought into it. It's all really good. Like the band,
they're great.
The band, and to be honest, like I never had any of the albums growing up. I didn't like it. My only listening to it was paired with what was in the show. But you realize like okay, I think the first 2 albums. And for the record, I know a lot of people are talking about like. A lot of people think CKY Band is like Brandon DiCamillo rapping and stuff, which is hilarious, by the way.
Narkill.
The Asian I downloaded that on LimeWire. Kazaa, actually, before LimeWire, I downloaded that. My oolong tea, you will you into a tree. Yeah, that shit killed me. Still funny, still funny. And then but CKY is a real band. Like, and I was looking up the latest news on CKY. They got kicked off a tour because Steven Ginsberg, who's like the wild guy, he punched the Alien Ant Farm singer in the face on tour.
No way.
In 2024. I'm like, dude.
Wow, dude.
Like I actually love that. I was like, wait, something's never changed.
Yeah, and they still look like that. Isn't Darren Miller's out, right?
In where?
Like he's not with them anymore.
I don't think so. There's been a lot of shakeups. I remember like you watched they kicked out their bass player like a long time ago. Like when the band was first getting popular, they're like, oh yeah, that guy always sucked. Like once like the music became like super serious because people were, I would imagine, people were watching CKY the thing and they were like, what is that song is sick. Like can I buy that? So like after a while they're like, wait, we're gonna go on Warped Tour. because of this. We need like a real bass player. But then after a while, they had just a bunch of, I mean, it's bands like they cycle in and out, and Jess Margera, I think, is a Family Guy now too. And there's like when Bam was having his spirals, they had like a really like public Twitter battle, which it was back when like people didn't think people saw what was on Twitter.
Right.
Like back in like 2012 or something. Like you didn't realize people were like screen capturing that and that it was there forever. So like they would be like, oh, Bam thinks he's all high. And like it's kind of sad when you watch it. You're like, I don't want to watch that. Like I don't want to watch the meltdown between. That's why I get mad when people like, there are a lot of people who they know when you bring up Bam, they think about all like the Instagram videos, like fuck Brandon Novak. I'm like, those are sad. I don't.
Yeah, it's not fun to watch.
Yeah, those are. I don't get entertainment. I mean, obviously you have a morbid curiosity.
Yeah, it's a bummer.
But the band is great. I mean, CKY. I think it's one. Just Can't Kill Yourself Volume 1 is
Kill
awesome.
Yourself. That's the one, because when you first reach out about this, that was like my first thought. Because I mean, the name CKY eclipsed the videos.
Yeah,
you know, the crew or whatever. I think for me at least, to a point. Because like when I first got a guitar, they're just what's the guitar? Chad Ginsburg.
Yes.
He's just he's just a riff master, you know. Like every song is just insane. And that their guitar tone, it always pissed me off because I think he uses like an octave pedal, like a double octave pedal to get like that specific sound. And I can never quite do that. But it sounds so good. And that's gotta be so nice, like having that in your back pocket, putting together these videos that you can just
in your family. Like you're like, even if he's being like gay about it, even if your brother Jess Margera was like, actually, I want to do other things with this music, fucking shut up and start beating the shit out of him, and then you'll have the song. You know, like it's like this. It's the perfect storm. That's like what I mean. This whole thing is the perfect storm. Like a family full of like dumb kids jumping around found a way to like make this shit happen. It's crazy. It's not like arguing with a band from Finland. Can I use your death metal song?
Right.
Please?
Yeah.
You know, in my skate video that you probably don't even like or think is cool. It's like, it's my brother, dude. Like, so at the end of the day, you had that at your disposal. And like, again, you when you listen to it in isolation, it sounds great in the music, and it actually works the best with like the videos happening. But when you listen to it in your car, you're like, this is actually really like complex, like good.
Oh,
music.
It kicks ass. It's so good.
Yeah, I mean, and then the yellow logo, the yellow CKY logo.
Yeah.
Second album, when Flesh into Gear, they do that awesome music video in I think it's CKY 3. I want to say they have that awesome music video with the wires everywhere, just just amp wires everywhere, and they're in that white room, like total like fucking classic 2000s video of like the camera like flipping around and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
I the music was just like, and like I said, My Promiscuous Daughter. I mean, like that's probably one of my favorite parts of CKY 2. I think it's CKY 2K
I think so.
And that compilation, because Bam would end a great bit that he would do, which doesn't work on YouTube or anything with the scroller, is he would end it at like 38 minutes. He'd be like, all right, that's it. So like you could picture people who borrowed it from their friend, right? Or like, and it's like, hey, so you said when was that? I didn't see that fucking thing. And they're like, dude, did you turn it off after it said it was over? And there's like 30 minutes left.
It just keeps going too. Yeah, the documentaries like that too, where it's like the CYK or CKY documentary. Yeah. Which I was like, I tuned into. It was like, it'd be nice to get some like backstory in these guys. And there's like a little bit, but it's just more. It's just more fucking. It's just more shit, you know.
It's so dumb. It's
like
so
how
dumb.
to rob a house skit and all that.
You realize, because we're so spoiled nowadays that there's lore for everything, you know, like you get everything. There's a documentary on everything. It really helps with my work, you know. I like with doing this, like it really helps. Like, oh, cool. But you realize like you kind of just have to watch everything and surmise your own. Like you can go on Reddit and there's always somebody that's like, oh, I grew up in Westchester and this is what, you know. All right, I'd rather just watch it myself and kind of project because you insert yourself into all these videos, like not doing it, but like watching it happen, you know. And you're like smoking weed next to them or drinking beer or something, and like you're like, damn, that was crazy, you know. But yeah, the music is, I think that's the hidden gem out of all of it too, is the music. And they are a real band, like they have their own fan base and everything. But I think a lot of the fan base did come from like originally hearing it in these videos, because how else would it have been unless you were like a local dive bar guy in Westchester and you're just like, oh, I saw them play at this park or something. Otherwise, no, you heard 96 Quite Bitter Beginnings, and you realize how incredible that is. Like,
It's so good.
it's a showstopper. I mean, the riff is like, it's in the
It's a top
pantheon
10
of
riff
guitar.
for me. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
I mean,
so good.
it's Pavlovian. Like, I want to jump off something
Yeah.
when I hear it. Like, I would, like, literally, it's ringing the bell. Like, it's just like, it could get, like, I want it, like, I live in a 2nd-story apartment. I want to just straight up, like, nosedive off my apartment with no plan for what happens after I hear it. It's unreal. Yeah. But, yeah, after all that, you know, Bam, after Viva La Bam and Jackass and all these things, like, he kind of hits, I think he kind of didn't realize it's over. You know, like that current construct. And that's when you really spiral, when you're just like, wait, what do I do now? He kind of gave up skating to do all of this, which is probably the right move, like in terms of business. And I mean, he would have never made this money as just a skater. I kind of think about it like Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, who played defensive end for the University of Miami, but tore his ACL his senior year. And it's like, he probably would have been good enough to go to the NFL, like just as like okay, I'll try to make the Miami Dolphins, see what happens. But then you're like, no, he got into wrestling because of that, you know, and now look at him, you know, and this guy's so Bam. But then you realize after a while, you're like, I can't be fucking 40, you know, jumping off of shit. Like, people don't think that's as cool anymore. You know, it's just like, there's a youth element to this that makes it better. Cause otherwise it's like Shoe Nice, like the old Shoe Nice videos of the guy eating painter's caulk. You know, and he's like, I gotta get my kids from school later. I'm gonna drink a quart of vodka.
Yeah, dude.
I broke the seal. This isn't fake. Like all the comments say, you know, like you see that and you're like, oh man, this is sad. And that's what all 2010s Bam looks like to me, is Shoe Nice, where you'd watch all these people who, I'm sorry, spend all day on the internet, don't have fun, don't have the lived experience that all these guys do, and they just watch a guy destroy himself.
Right.
It's sad. And that's what most of his friends are saying in the comments, are like, dude, don't fucking post it. Like, call me. We'll talk. Like, and then Novak's getting sober at that time, which is really funny how like literally the minute Bam spirals out of control, like Novak gets sober.
He just kind of
they switch. There's like one of them is like a clear mind at all times. And like, because they would film Brandon Novak getting kicked off of like tour with them. Like they would film him like getting caught with heroin and stuff, like in the house.
God,
I said you could live in my house if you didn't do drugs. And he's like, empty your pockets. He's like, well, dude, I did borrow these jeans from somebody, like, so there might be shit in here. And it's like sad.
Yeah, dude.
And then Bam goes through it and he starts trashing Novak. But I did find it funny that Novak's like, yeah, I don't take any of that actually serious, because that's a junkie and I was a fucking junkie. So like, he's like, you just start saying shit to anybody that tries to help you. So it's like actually kind of charming, like in a way where he's like, yeah, we'll get him some help, man. He's like, I don't pay much attention to what he's saying, you know?
Yeah. I'm happy too. I mean, Bam at this point too, it's cool seeing him back on the skateboard, but he does have the good sense to know his age. And I mean, he's trashing on like the recent Jackass, just calling it like fat guys and butt floss, you know, and doing that shit. And
where's the lie? I mean,
yeah, exactly. There is, I mean, it's not like, and I feel like I'll still like probably like Larry Clark out and like learn to skateboard at like 40 or something in my life, you know,
dude,
but
falling is rough, man. Falling is fucking rough. Like I worked at a skate park like when I was like 20, and I would just ride around. I'd get bored, nobody be in the park or something. I would just ride around, just like literally go over everything, not doing any tricks. And like I fell once and I was like, fuck, I used to be able to, and this is 20. I used to be able to like get up when I was 13 and like kind of get fired up by falling, like, and like, all right, cool. Like I got punched in the mouth in my prize fight. Now I'm ready to fight. Now I was like, dude, I'm just going to lay here like forever. I might die, you know? And, and it's like embarrassing now, like where you see like Bam, not embarrassed. It's not actually, he's actually still really good. It's actually kind of cool. Like how it never really leaves you, but he's like, yeah, man. He's like, I'm bailing out of everything. Cause he's like, fuck, if I fall, like I might like, like Tony Hawk still skates.
Yeah,
like 50.
Yeah, he's in those like turmeric joint commercials and he's still going.
Skating in Skechers and shit. Yeah,
that's right. Yeah.
I know. It's really funny because you're just like,
it's wild, dude.
Yeah, because Tony Hawk does not need to skate anymore, like at all.
No.
Like, he has so much money. His kid is like pro, but
skating's a weird one because like you can, I don't know, surfers, like people get pretty old and like still surf.
Yep.
You know, because you're not hitting your face on pavement.
Yeah.
You're still getting thrown under and shit, but like, yes, skating into your like 40s, 50s is pretty fucking wild.
Yeah, and he was talking about like, because one thing about skate culture, I'm talking about this with Adam Lair a long time ago. I think on the back wall we were talking about it because we watched Baker 3, which is
Yeah, that's right.
I'm Baker 3. But you start like realizing how there was somebody trying to stop you, which was part of the fun, like where there'd be a security guard going like, don't skate that rail, you know.
Uh-huh.
And now it's like there's really everybody catches you doing everything now, and
Oh,
it's
yeah,
like
yeah.
lawsuit. We're in litigation culture now, so like there's a lot of shit that could happen where they sue you for property damage and all these things, and then also like, but skate culture, a lot of times, like I watched the latest like Zero skate DVD or whatever they put out on YouTube. I was like, these kids are fucking good, man. Like,
Yeah,
I was
dude.
like they like skate up spiral staircases, like they grind like upwards, like on a spiral staircase. And you're like, this is insane. But then like you'll see them like eating healthy. Sometimes,
it's odd. Yeah,
you're like,
way.
I get it. That's the right thing to do. But like that Nyjah Houston guy is unreal. Like he's so good. But then he's like eating like Brazil nuts and like olives. And he's like, he's like, these are anti-inflammatory. You're like, I kind of want you to sacrifice yourself for my enjoyment.
Yeah, it's there's no personality to it. It's just, I mean, that's always like, you know, like there's Evel Knievel doing all of his stunts, and then his son Bobby Knievel.
Scott.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and he's the one he broke all of his records. He did everything, but he didn't gain near, you know, the fame and levels like his dad, because it's like part of it's just like the personality and showmanship. And I mean, I think that's something that like Knoxville's got down with the having a stage name and everything, is knowing how to like sell a personality. But yeah, I mean, that's even like today's like what, like the YouTube pranksters, like the Joey Salads types, like the whole like having the social media side of it kind of like adds a weird sort of like a, I don't know, another layer of like attention seeking, antisocialness to it. I don't know, like who, like probably like the sort of like iDubbbz Filthy Frank was probably like the last crew. I mean, Odd Future had a bit of it.
Odd Future is very much derivative of that. It was the last time I saw like somebody do something with the CKY Jackass model and like do something different with it. But even then, look at those guys now. Like that didn't last very long when you think about it. Like them as a crew did not last that long. Like, and they all, you know, Tyler the Creator started winning Grammys, so it's like he's got to wear shirts with bumblebees all over him and pretend that he's fucking, you know, is into political causes. Like, you know, like like that's the thing, is like there's so many things stopping you now. I mean, you can buck them, but then you can get shadow banned if you do that. Like back then it was like, okay, there's no guarantee anybody sees what I'm doing, but I can do exactly what I want, you know.
Well, I don't think too, like being really good the way people are now is like people don't want to see that. It's like people want to see that you fucking up and getting hit and punched in the face. And that was another Knievel thing. It's like people, when he did his like Caesar's Palace jump, you know, he's like, people aren't showing up to like see me land this, or they want to be here, you know, to see me die. Like if I fucking die doing this, they don't want to miss that. Like they're here to see me fail.
I mean, the Tony Hawk 900, it took a fucking hour to happen in real time. I remember he fell so many times, and the falling was like entertaining because you're like, oh, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like, like edges. It was an edging experiment. Whereas now you would edit that out. You would edit out that, and then maybe 2 attempts, and then the 900, where you're like, no, like, man, I go with this all the time. Is like stuff does get better. Like every movie that's made now looks like a professional movie, right? It's like you don't get a lot of like a lot of indie. The line between indie and mainstream aesthetically doesn't really look a lot different, than it would years past. And then you look at sports, where people ask me all the time, so playing baseball, they would say, why doesn't anyone watch baseball anymore? And they go, their answer is always, well, you should let them do steroids again. And I'm like, if you watch baseball, everyone throws 100 miles an hour and hits fucking 500-foot home runs. If you watch it now, the problem is that there's no like fat guy that's fun to watch, or like like a big fat like slob that's like strikes out the Adonis guy, you know, or something like. Everybody's jacked, everybody's in shape, everybody's really good, but it's boring. So it's like with CKY, it's like, dude, you jumped into a pine tree, or like you are standing on the back of an El Camino, or not even that cool of a car, like a fucking Toyota Camry, and you
Right.
jump and tackle your friend from a moving vehicle.
Yeah, cars
Like,
I had back then.
yeah, that's fun. Like
Yeah.
that's so fun to watch. It's not this optimizing.
No.
Mhm.
What they always did too is like even during the skate segments, they'd show someone fuck up and then they show them like do the trick back to back. And I
Mhm.
noticed that with like CKY too is like
Yeah.
they'd fuck it up and then they'd do it, and it wasn't just like a bunch of like sick
Yeah.
stunts and pulling them off.
Breaking the skateboard. Some of the best ones is when it's a compilation of guys throwing their fucking skateboard like fuck, and you'd look and it would be like Ardo Sari, like like a professional skater. Like you're like, this guy's like legit good. And for a while, I think it's people who are a lot more into skating could challenge this. And I'm just speculating here, but I get the idea that being in CKY was better than being in like literally almost any other thing.
It had been so fun. Well, you probably actually did so much skating.
Or I think more people saw it too, to be honest. Like I get the idea that like comedy fans were buying CKY, like people who didn't pick up a skateboard were buying CKY. Whereas, it's kind of like, this happens a lot of times people who listen to your show have their own podcast, which is cool. But you're like, I don't want you to like not. I want the fan who just only listens to us from a pure consumption standpoint. And it's fine, but like you're just like, people were just trying to laugh at things buying CKY. And I remember like even Bam's parents were like, because there was one like early before they got really bold with like the shitting and the pissing. The CKY one is like Ryan Dunn just bare ass farting in a goat's face, and it's really funny. Like it's like it's really funny, and like I think I get the idea that Phil and April Margera were like, keep that in. They said that they're like, that's really funny. Like if you just splice that in every once in a while, and then after a while that becomes the focus of it, and then with skating spliced in, and it's like it's crazy how much of a perfect storm this shit was, dude. Like I can't believe it. Like just the idea that a great band and a great skater merged to make like way longer than you'd think, and make these great. I think all four CKYs are like.
There's so much to it too. I mean, Bam being in like Tony Hawk and like the whole like Tony Hawk Pro Skater overlap too.
Officer Dick, all that stuff. Remember when you could play as Officer Dick and Tony Hawk Pro Skater, and that was like that's Jackass. Like it permeated everything. And I'd imagine there's some skating purists that hate all of that stuff. Like that are probably like, yeah, that is our culture, but like we're getting people coming in where like I'm a serious skater and they're asking me to go fucking like run in a shopping cart and fall on something, but I'm really trying to skate. I want you to buy my skate, and everyone's like, too bad. I already saw somebody skate, do a sick ass fucking whatever trick, and then also piss off the landscaper that worked at a Western Pennsylvania or whatever, I don't know where it is, Westchester, PA shopping center. I saw that all at once. Now what can you do for me? And it's like, it really blows its wad. And then with Jackass, it's like Jackass just, I'm surprised Jackass lasted as long as it did, to be honest.
Yeah,
like,
that's like,
still
like a pretty solid media empire, and like Dick House Productions. I mean, he's put out some like, have you seen what's that documentary they did? The Wild and Wonderful Whites of West Virginia.
I did see that one. Yeah.
Do you like it?
I watched it recently. Yeah. Somebody was saying it's good. I mean, dude, I'd never even heard of it. When we did Snow on the Bluff, when we did Snow on the Bluff with Kelby and David, somebody was like, you got to check that out. And I did. It was good. I did enjoy it. Yeah.
That one's fun. I mean, that just side whatever, but just their documentary style and how they just like kind of observe and, whatever. That one's really good. But I mean, there's a lot that they're doing as well. But it's funny. I think one of the things that kind of fucks CKY, which is funny because you can like stream it anywhere illegally online. It's like archive, but like as far as like for them to sell it themselves, I think all the music licensing fucked them. Because I was seeing like the DVD versus VHS. There's like so many edits because of the music.
I know. Yeah. I think Internet Archive got a pretty good rip because, like I said, Bjork. If Bjork's in there, like because I always E40 used a Bjork sample once, and it was such a big deal that Bjork cleared a sample for him. Like I guess. So I'm like, there's no way she cleared it for fucking Bam Margera. Like, at that point, at least it was like to create music. I could see her doing that, but it's like, what? These are just a bunch of fucking idiots on skateboards. Maybe she's a huge fan. I have no idea. But that's the problem with it is just like there was so much freedom. And because of that, like a parent, like it has to be every parent's nightmare. Like I said, like when it came out, I remember my mom just like everyone just doing a deep breath, like just oh fuck, like because it's a uniquely male problem, like we said, like where like if you're a girl dad, I guess you're worried about your daughter hanging out with people.
You're
like
hanging
this.
out,
yeah.
It's all
Like,
daughters in this house.
but again, they're probably gonna party one way or another. So it's like, okay,
well, I don't even know that anymore because like we got 3 girls in this house, and it's like they got 2 high school boyfriends, and I'm just like, do you guys ever try to sneak out? Are you guys doing? They're like, no, they don't do anything.
That's crazy. That's well, maybe they just didn't tell you that,
or maybe they're just not telling me. But
yeah, maybe they're like narc. Don't.
You're just such good kids, dude. I don't know.
I know. I just remember. I think it's the opening line of The Sandlot. I think about it all the time, like that, like where the kid's just a nerd at the beginning, and like the mom's just like, "Will you go get into some fucking trouble?" She doesn't say fucking, but like, "Will you go get into some trouble?"
Yeah.
And he's like, "For real?" He goes, "Yeah, not too much, but just like go do something. Like stop being a mama's boy. Like stop like hanging around here. Like what do you?" It's the complete opposite. It's literally the complete opposite problem that we have now. But yeah, I was just thinking, like, back then, if you had a daughter in like 2001, you're like, don't hang out with those guys.
Fucking nightmare, dude.
Don't hang out with those guys. And
dude,
then but there's nobody's filming everything though. Like at least like you could like suffer in silence a little bit. Like luckily, like or stayed within the community a little bit more. But then also like the boys, you're like, fuck, dude. My kids just found out you could jump off a fucking roof.
Boys are so funny,
dude. Yeah, this sucks.
We were at this like music festival thing about like a summer ago.
Yeah.
And there's these like 2, like they'd been like 4 and 5, 2 brothers just like chasing each other and like throwing like full haymakers, just trying to like punch each other in the face. I'm like, dude, way different. Like I just spent so much time around my daughter. I just forget that like, dude, boys are just way different, dude.
Because it's a completely different set of fears where as a girl you're just like, God, I hope you're just like, I hope she's not like completely stupid around who she hangs out with.
You want to make sure that like it's like, dude, get some of this out of your system, or like understand things before you go to college,
right?
And you can just totally slut out your freshman year,
And even knowing that, it's got to be weird because you're like, I don't want to know about it though. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I want that to be something that you figured out on your own, and like, and I can still have this image of you as whatever, like something like that. With boys, it's like you come home from work like early and you're like, you motherfuckers, I told you not to fucking, I told you the side yard, don't fucking do that. Like, it's just, and I was an only child, so it was crazy. Like to me, like I had friends, but they couldn't always hang out. So like to me, I was like, fuck, dude, if I like fall and like nobody can go get any, like if I'm doing dumb shit by myself, like I'll just die in the backyard, which also made it kind of fun, which also made it like raise the stakes a little bit, but nobody to film it, right? But like it didn't matter. The filming didn't matter. I was like, dude, I just want to do this shit.
You got to do it.
Yeah, because it's such an adrenaline. Like the adrenaline junkie of it. And that's why, like, I mean, there's probably like a Rorkean element to it a little bit where it's like, that's probably when you harness that a little bit, you probably are able to like buck any fear that's in your way. While your parents are just like, oh my God, though, but don't like don't fucking, try to ride the lawnmower off of like, the John Deere, it through Safeway or something. I know people that shop there. Like, I don't want to, there's all of these. Oh my gosh, man. Like you're immediately transported back into that time where like, I remember like schools were talking about it. They're like, talk to your kids about Jackass. Cause we had that with Cy and I went to middle school together and we had this thing called the B house, which was this massive 2-story thing. We had an A house, B house, and C house. And this B house was this big thing. So what we would do was play burrito catch at lunch and fucking try to throw like football style the burrito over with the wrapper just untouched, and you had to catch it without it spilling out. But you would catch it half the time, you wouldn't even get it to the guy. You'd hit some fucking kid or a teacher, and it would just boom, burrito splatter everywhere. Incredible fun. I mean, it was. I don't regret any bit of it. But that was like only 1% of what these guys were doing. But the school enough was like, do not, parents, we will take measures against your children because we have to stop that. We have to stop the spread of CKY and Jackass, So it was just like, oh my God.
Dude, that shit was fun though.
Oh, it was so fun. I know it's glory days. And it's sad. That's what's sad is like, I don't see kids doing that anymore. And like, I want to be yelling at kids now. Hey, cut that shit out. I want to be the annoying neighbor in the CKY. There's no one to do that to.
Right.
My dad was asking me the other day. He's like, "Why are there no kids like playing it? Dude, in your neighborhood, do kids play outside?" I'm like, "No,
Yeah.
straight up, like they don't." And it's like, and I fear that when like kids don't do stuff like that, they still have that urge, but they
I
like,
think they wig out eventually. Like,
and they spaz, or they put it all on the internet like in posting form, or they
it
like
comes out.
webcam or something.
Yeah,
like,
it comes out in some way. I mean, even when I was
Yeah.
like, when I went to Santa Clara, it was like a lot of like private
Yeah.
school kids went there.
Oh
And
yeah,
dude, and I was surprised because so like I went to California thinking I was gonna be like, you know, the Montana dude doesn't know, just totally uncultured, doesn't know shit. But like Santa Clara was like freshman year, they're so much more sheltered.
Asian
And
kids too, fucking
dude, it was weird. So
Yeah.
like everyone was a virgin, and you could tell it was like their first time like really partying.
Yeah.
And it was fucking weird. And some of them, like some of the girls, like just go nuts. It's like, dude, that's you know.
I know.
Yeah.
They're not sending their best. No,
It's wild.
yeah, they're like and not every kid does this, but it's like there was so much like pressure release valves as a kid for when you were doing something like retarded or something. Like,
Yeah.
for me, it was
Yeah.
sports. Like I played a lot of sports and stuff,
Right.
and you would just sports and then like sleepovers with your friends. You'd do something really stupid, and then like parents would yank the fucking cord out from the TV's off, like all that stuff. You know,
Right,
it was all handled under that roof now. And then you just see like the way kids like spaz out now. It's like this shit that follows them forever. This
Oh,
like
yeah.
like they'll say something they don't mean. I mean, honestly, I think a lot of like people on like X and all that stuff, like I'm just like, man, did you ever do any of this shit as a kid? Because now you're just like getting it now, you know, and now you're
Right.
just getting that like shithead mentality. I don't know how old some of these people are. A lot of them are
Who
anonymous,
knows, dude? Yeah.
but I hope they're young. I'll just say
yeah,
that much.
yeah.
Because like sometimes you'll just be like, dude, if I find out you're fucking 38 years old,
It's
doing
wild
this
how
shit,
many
yeah.
are like that, dude. So much with like the fucking manosphere too. Is like that's what's fun watching this stuff. Is like this
Yeah.
this entire instinct, this like side of like when you get men
Yes.
together, it looks way more like this than you know whatever
And
fucks.
yeah, and they're not
raw egg
working
shit, you
out.
know?
They're not working.
Yeah.
They're not like worried. They're not like analyzing. It's just as gay. Don't get me wrong. Like
Yeah,
it's still
yeah,
homoerotic stuff. Like so,
yeah.
it's all the Bronze Age stuff that you would see. But like it's like this whole like physiognomy chat. They didn't care about any of that stuff, dude.
Dude.
And they still did well. And it's this energy we're all chasing. Like we need to return to. I'm like, well, nobody cared about that stuff back then. That's part
No.
of the reason.
Yeah.
Like I don't need.
It looked much more like this, I'm sure.
Yeah, they weren't eating the beef tallow McDonald's either. These guys, like they weren't.
Oh,
Like, I'm
yeah,
not saying that
yeah.
doesn't need to change. I just mean like, come on, guys. Like it's actually quite simple. There's this primal element to becoming a man that a lot of times the guys who want to bring back masculinity are telling you to stop doing. A lot of times.
Oh yeah,
Like,
they
it's-
use like degenerate, you know, the D word for them. Yeah, they bring that out. Yeah.
Oh, I hate that word. I hate
It's
that word so
fucking-
much, especially when I
yeah.
see like a guy. It's like, guys, like I just don't like hamster wheel guys that are just in the hamster wheel all fucking day. Like,
Yeah,
dude,
yeah.
today I'm gonna release this episode tonight, and there's gonna be somebody that complains that I didn't talk about Iran or Iran. I probably will at some point,
Right.
but I don't have anything to say about it. I don't know what the fuck's gonna
No.
happen. I don't
Right.
know what's gonna happen. Do you want me to just talk about how a qualifying statement that goes back and forth on both sides because I don't know what's gonna happen? No, sorry, you get the CKY episode. That's what happens. So yeah. Anyways, Ryan, thank you as always. I kind of want to rewatch Viva La Bam at some point.
Dude, I've been throwing it. That's a loud show. I mean, you guys talk plenty about like 2010s TV programming and how just quiet and shit it is. Throwing on Viva it's fucking loud. Like
being loud was like a thing. It was crazy, and it was so funny to see like a guy with a bunch of money still doing the exact same things though. Like obviously he would be able to pay for like an insane like thing to fall on someone's car or something. Like he would be able to do that, but for the most part it was like still going to torment my fucking parents. I just have a bunch of money and they can't get mad because I bought this fucking house. And it was just like, as a kid, you're just like, yep, he won.
Hell yeah, dude.
Yep, that's the greatest thing I've ever seen. Yeah, I mean, so but I know it makes me want to go back and check that stuff out because it's just like, gosh, man, because I didn't watch Wild Boys nearly as much. Like the Pontius Steve.
No, I wasn't in that. Pontius.
Yeah, Pontius is weird, but although his
Yeah.
was it the one in CKY 3? It had to have been CKY 3 because that's when Jackass was starting. Where
Oh,
where he just walks into that like hot dog stand naked, like to get like mustard, but it's nonchalant. He doesn't say anything to anybody, and his dick is just out. It's so funny, dude.
Or funny now because like today it's like that's just like
yeah, I know you wouldn't even think
homeschool
otherwise.
shit, you know?
Yeah, I know. No, you'd be trip out because the thing is like people would get mad because he was level headed. Like if he would just started smearing shit everywhere, they'd be like, "Oh, he's homeless. He's a vagrant, a homeless guy.
Yeah.
There's something wrong." But the fact that he's like, "What's up, man? Yep, how you doing, man?" Yep. And he's like walks out, people will be like, "That's evil." Nobody consented to see his penis. Like, and or the other one where I think it's either done or it has to be done where he takes his pants down like elementary school style at the stall.
Oh, dude,
and he's like, dude, there's no women in here, dude. Fuck. Like,
those that guy walks in and goes out.
Yeah, the guy's in the mirror, and the guy that sees him from the mirror while he's washing his hands, he just sees his bare ass, and he's like, "What the fuck?"
Dude, I vividly remember the first time I realized in like first grade that you don't have to pull your pants all the way down.
Yeah.
When you're like, because I was like on like the fifth grade side of school.
Yeah.
And I was going to take a piss, and I just dropped my pants all the way down. Then like an older kid walked in, and it just like
once. Yeah.
It was like Adam realizing he's naked. Like
oh,
you can see my ass. I don't need to be doing this.
And it only takes once. And then, to be fair, I learned that. Thank God I learned that in front of my dad. Like we went to like a park restroom.
Yeah.
And I think it was, I had to have been kindergarten, first grade or something, junior year of high school, obviously.
Right.
But
no,
I did it. My dad's just like, let me show you how to like take a piss at a urinal. Like, he's just like, he's like, this can't stand. Like, you don't, in his head, he's just like, oh, fuck. Like, he's like, you're one of those kids. And so he's like, all right, here's the thing. You see that zipper? This is how you do this. Like, just like, it was really funny because like it was at a part where it was just like me and him in the back. That's it. So but I had done it at school, but nobody had said anything. I think I was around a couple.
Everyone else is probably doing it, dude.
Or it was like Asian kids that wouldn't say anything or something.
Right,
like they don't find that funny. I guess I don't know, but like they or something. I don't know. Because I was like nobody had told me, and then it was like I think it was either kindergarten or first grade. My dad's like, oh my god, what? This is what you do? Like
you're 12 years old, god.
Yeah, I know. It's like he's like you're starting work at my company tomorrow. You're 23. No, it's great. Yeah, so. Guys, definitely check them out. If you're young and you don't know, like, I'd love to know some young people's opinion on CKY. Like, some stuff probably doesn't work for you, but I bet if you're like a little bit of a reactionary Zoomer, you're probably it's gonna unlock a few things. So, shout out. Maybe one day we can get Bam, dude. I fucking would love it.
He seems reachable.
I feel like right place, right time. It's just like you'd have to do it in person, I think. Like, I think it would be one of, because I feel like he'd flake, like not in like a bad way, but just like, oh my bad, I'm going to fucking Australia tomorrow for like.
It's hard to say. Yeah.
Because he has a new influencer kind of girlfriend now.
Yeah.
Because he had a horrible end of his 2010s where he lost the first wife, the one they had the show, I think, where they got married on MTV. It was like
Nikki Boyd.
They had a kid together, I think, and
they got a kid, whole custody thing.
Very bad.
That
that sucked for sure. And then he has this new chick who's like a health influencer, doesn't drink, doesn't do any of that stuff. So I mean, I guess that's probably the best possible scenario. And they're good. That seems to be doing well, but like he's just like constantly like traveling, and you could tell he just needs like gears turning to like stay on track and stuff. Because he was talking about being in a mental asylum. I didn't know he had to go to like he had to like stay in a mental facility for a long time.
Yeah, dude,
and he has two interviews, one from 2018 and one from like 3 weeks ago on the 9 Club, which is two skaters and stuff, and they're really good. But he said he was in the mental asylum, and they said he was like telling stories of shit that he did, and they were like, they didn't know who he was. So they were like, oh, this guy's batshit. And he's like, no, I like did that though. Like, he's like, you can say I'm crazy, but like I did.
What he says, like, I had a
Prince's soundboard. He bought Prince's soundboard. I think he's like, and then he got a car. Kim Jong-un saw like a car that he had. It was
something about a car from Billy Idol that he sent to North Korea.
Yeah,
Kim
which he
Jong-un
did.
and-
He's like, I did that. You might
He's
think, he goes, if you want to lock me up because I did that, that's fine. He's like, but he goes,
Yeah.
Google me. Like, I just picture being the guy, the orderly or whatever, like, and somebody just going, like, he's like, Googling, you're like, oh, fuck, this guy find what?
with that fucking like Philly
Fucking-
accent.
Yeah. Yo, it's over there by the worder. You passed me that
Yeah.
worder over there. Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
But yeah. So, yeah, guys, get Ritsuko, AmericanVulgari.com. Check that out and get it's very, very dense copy of as publications get thinner and thinner. Even the newspaper doesn't weigh anything. It's a very thick one. You're at the urinal with your pants down.
That's right, dude.
You're at the urinal with your pants down, just holding your copy.
That's
So
right,
that's make sure you guys get that. And like I said, listen to the end of the show if you guys want to hear a exclusive RC premiere of Nothing Is Real by Fountain of Mirth. So on that note, guys, everybody have a safe week, and we'll catch you guys next time.